Yeah, well, the map says we're fucked.
Hey everybody, welcome to Fright, the show that takes two horror franchises, puts them together head-to-head, movie by movie, to find out which is the superior franchise. I'm Nick, he's Joe.
And today we watched Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, and Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. And they were something else.
One of these was really, really bad, and the other one was equally really, really bad.
And they're almost the same movie.
They're the same fucking movie.
So let's go ahead and jump in and start with Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. Nick, tell us, what does happen in that movie?
In Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, the spirit of Jason is eaten by a coroner for no reason at all. It is then passed on from body to body by way of kissing demon turds into people's mouths so he can crawl inside the body of his sister that he really shouldn't have had, since it undermines the film's own canon. Also, he explodes. Alright, Joe, what happens in Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare?
In Freddy Goes to Hell, The Final Deadmare, Freddy Krueger transports his soul into his daughter that he shouldn't have, since it undermines the film's own canon. Also, he explodes. So in Fright Fight, what we do is we judge these movies by 5 categories. We've got characters, best kill, body count, music, and best overall. And I guess it's time to go ahead and jump right into characters.
Okay, so for characters, start off with Jason Goes to Hell. In Jason Goes to Hell, we have not Keith David, Diana, Jessica, not John Cusack or Wormy Guy, evil 80s business guy, and then a whole bunch of dead people.
So when it comes to Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, we've got a handful of characters this time. We've got John Doe, who doesn't know who he is, and we've got Maggie, who's his psychiatrist who finds John Doe. There's also Yaphet Kotto, he's the other psychiatrist, and he's the dream expert. And then there's the gang that rounds out the rest of the group. There's Carlos, Tracy, Spencer, and Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper's a part of the gang. For characters, it's kind of weird because I feel like there is some really good acting in Jason Goes to Hell, but the characters are shittier, and there's too many of them. Whereas with Freddy's Dead, like I feel like the characters are a little bit better established, but the acting's not so great. So, but it's more so about characters than it is actors. For that reason, I'm going to go with Freddy's Dead, solely for pretty much just the one character. Basically, with both of these movies, each of them only has one really strong character. In this one, the really strong character is Tracy. She's pretty much the best final girl we've ever had in a Freddy movie, in that she's competent, she's smart, she seems to she picks up on the lore pretty quick.
She's smarter than, honestly, I think any of the Dream Warriors from Part 3, in terms of knowledge of dreams and how to...
Yeah,
because there's like that scene where she like purposely burns her arms to wake up and escape from Freddy, and that's something I hadn't seen before in Dream Warriors.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then with this one, the only character worth a damn in this one is Creighton Duke. Not Keith David.
Rufus.
He's Rufus, yeah, or X from X-Files. Like fucker's been in everything. He's the only character worth a damn in this, but he's so over the top.
He wears other people's bodies like folks wear a suit. Or he may get blown up, but that's just a little minor inconvenience for him. He'll just get himself another body. Jason Voorhees, the true Jason Voorhees. It's something you and I have never seen before, Mr. Campbell. There's only one way to put an end to him for all time. And I'm the only one that knows the way. So if you want him dead, truly dead, 500 grand is my fee. And for that, you get the mask, the machete, the whole damn thing.
Quite a character.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with you. I picked Freddy's Dead because, again, I liked Tracy. I thought she was a smart character. She had her wits about her, and that she learned the dream world pretty quickly, and the tools to actually beat Freddy a couple instances, which was nice to see. Carlos was okay. I liked that there was a character with a disability that Freddy took advantage of. And then Spencer was traditional stupid stoner, but I liked the stuff Freddy did with him, so I think that kind of plays into it because it plays with how his character is established and the stuff he does in it. When it came to Jason Goes to Hell, I liked two characters. Yeah, I liked the bounty hunter, Rufus. I liked his character, even though he had no backstory whatsoever. And I liked the wormy guy because he had a couple good scenes where where he gets a couple fingers broken by Rufus to get information because he was framed for murder and stuff like that. And I liked that he had a motivation and that he was willing to take risks to try and achieve that goal, which was something they had going for it. But I think overall, written-wise, yeah, Freddy's characters were better, even if the acting was pretty subpar.
We talked about it at the front of the episode. Giving Jason a sister undermines the canon. Freddy getting a daughter, just doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Because, like with Jason, what's the whole point of the first movie? What's the whole point? Who's the murderer of the first movie?
In the first movie, it's Jason's mom because Jason isn't in it because Jason's the drowned boy. So the mom goes crazy because she has one son who died in a lake.
Right.
So if she has a kid, she wouldn't go crazy and start the curse of Jason. So it doesn't make sense.
Right. And the director's like, oh, well, the daughter, Diana, was born out of wedlock, so she put it up for adoption, and Jason was the only boy she actually had. No, that's fucking stupid. It's retconning garbage. There's no fucking need for it. And then and Freddy's dead. Like, why give Freddy a kid? When Freddy tells her, I tried to be good, but then they took you away from me. But by doing that, you make Freddy a somewhat... He's like a tragic hero, a way tragic hero, but you give him like a tragic background to where he's like, oh, there's a little bit of sympathy. No! He's Freddy fucking Krueger. He doesn't get sympathy. He's a child molesting murderer. Fuck him. He's worse than the devil. But yeah, fucking, like, even that being said, the argument being made, characters in Freddy's Dead they're better overall than they are in Jason Goes to Hell, largely because every character in here was terrible. Wormy guy, I admire that he's sticking up for himself and he wants to be a part of his daughter's life and blah blah blah. I admire that aspect, but at the end, like, having him go toe to toe with Jason is it's retarded.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I don't understand why they thought that Jason could have an actual fight scene with just some random fucking dude. No.
It couldn't be the awesome bounty hunter they have in the movie.
Right. Yeah, no, he just gets bear hugged. Mm-hmm. Fucking stupid.
So for the next category, it's going to be best kill. For my pick, I'm going to go with Jason Goes to Hell with this one, mostly because a lot of the practical effects they used were pretty terrific. And one scene in particular that I liked is when Jason transfers his soul via Turd Demon over to 80s guy. The cop that he had taken over previously begins to melt, and there was a part where his jaw dropped off to the floor, and it was gooey, it was gross, and I like that. As to with Freddy's Dead, there was some nice stuff. There were some nice visuals. Like, for instance, I like John Doe's death when he gets stabbed with the spikes. You can see like the indentations of the spikes. I thought that looked cool. Freddy's death was fucking terrible looking, and just watch the fucking clip. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it looks stupid, and then the fact, again, both of them explode. It's fucking stupid. This explodes at the beginning of the movie. He explodes at the end. It's stupid. It's fucking dumb. Like, at this point, they're both demons. Like, they're both full-on demons. Mm-hmm. Exploding them does dick. Like, it doesn't make sense. So yeah, like there is some decent stuff that happens in Freddy's Dead. Like, I don't want to completely get. You said your best kill is the gooey jaw.
It is the cop's death in Jason.
The cop's death. Okay. I'm gonna go with Jason Goes to Hell for my pick of best kill, but out of all of them, I gotta go with the tent kill. Like, it's still, like, having the knockdown stop sign part. Having the sign pole stab through and then ripping her up and everything. Like, when I originally watched this, I watched the rated cut, or the R-rated cut, And then once I saw that scene, I'm like, that doesn't seem right. And I instantly went like, oh yeah, there's an unrated cut. Found that unrated cut and then kept watching it. So like, because I remember seeing it as a kid, like, that's not right. So yeah, the unrated cut getting split up through the side, fucking great, one of the best effects. But yeah, no, for me, Jason Goes to Hell win. Different kill than yours, but it's still the same pick. Fuck it, Jason gets the point. This one's foregone conclusion. We say that every fucking time. Jason has 29 kills. Freddy has 6 kills. And just for the record, like, that's counting anytime that someone dies in the movie, whether it's a dream, whether it's, somebody mentions so many people died or whatever. 29 total deaths in this movie by our count, 6 in this one. Doesn't matter. Jason wins. Jason always fucking wins. So Jason gets a point on that one.
So for our next category, it's going to be music. And for my pick, I'm going to go with Freddy's Dead on this one. Mostly because there was a lot of popular songs that I was familiar with, a lot of Goo Goo Dolls. And then Why Was I Born by Iggy Pop was one of the bigger songs in the movie. So I have to give it on that because the soundtrack in Jason Goes to Hell was generic and forgettable, and it was just, the mixing was terrible as well, where dialogue and music was just all over the place. So in terms of sound, Jason Goes to Hell was a frustrating experience, so I can't give it any points because of that.
Yeah. And I'm going to agree with you on that one. It's boring category here because we're just agreeing. But still, with Jason Goes to Hell, not only was the music, they stick with, it's the same guy that does the music. Manfredini does the music for almost every movie. The problem with this one, though, is it sounded, this is the wrong term, but I'm going to say it anyway. It sounded fake. Like, it sounded as though it wasn't actually orchestrated by an orchestra, like through a symphony. It sounded like they were just using a piano, like it was like a synth orchestra kind of thing. And it sounded flat and just the epitome of bad 90s, like it sounded terrible. And then also the mixing on, we watched two different copies. I watched the DVD, you watched the Blu-ray, but still, on both, the mixing was shit. So yeah, no, nothing here. With Freddy's Dead, without even taking out the soundtrack aspect, the score of Freddy's Dead, there were, for the most part, it was using the same kind of stings that they did from the other Freddy movies. But there's the instance where Freddy is doing the Wizard of Oz thing. He's going around as the Wicked Witch. You can hear cues from Night on Bald Mountain. It might actually just be Night on Bald Mountain, but when I was listening to it, like, it felt like they recreated it. So it might actually be a part of the score. I'm not sure. Anyway, I recognize Night on Bald Mountain, and I fucking love that. I love Fantasia, so there you go. I like that song. Freddy's Dead's going to work on that one, just because this pissed me off. And that I actually recognized aspects of it, and it seemed intriguing. So that got a rise out of me. This one just pissed me off. So best overall, if you can't already tell, just based on how we're kind of leaning as the night goes on, Freddy is going to be the better pick as far as the movie. Both of these movies are very similar. Like, yeah, you can joke about the souls go into different people, blah, blah, blah. More so than this one than that one. But there's a lot of similarities between the two of these, and they're not good similarities. Both of them were thinking, okay, well, we've squeezed all we could out of this thing. We got to get us, we can go out with a bang. So in their thinking, they were basically saying, oh, well, we can try something new. We can reinvent the wheel. When in your last movie, like, that's the last time you reinvent the wheel. Like, you go back to the original time it was supposed to be the final chapter. They didn't reinvent it. They didn't really go in and change they didn't make Jason a body swap movie. No, it's the same kind of shit. They just add a little bit more gravitas to it. They add a reason for it. So I think with that idea of, let's see if we can take it a new direction. That whole idea of like saying, well, let's take it a new direction. No, don't do that. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm going to have to totally agree. I picked Freddy's Dead as well because, yeah, both of these movies, it's the last installment of the original run of both franchises in terms of a singular universe, if you will. So, yeah, both of these movies feel like scripts that would be middle of the franchise, not franchise-ending scripts.
Except this one. This doesn't even feel like a fucking Jason movie at all.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, though, is like, this movie is not a Jason movie because Jason's in it in the last 7 fucking minutes, and I timed it. At least with this one, Freddy's in it. It's about Freddy. It's about his relationships. And while I may not like all the aspects they did with it, it's still vehemently, it adds to the Freddy lore, the canon, at least in some way. That does fucking nothing. Why Jason gets there doesn't fucking matter. He's just there. And then he just explodes. And then he's not there for the rest of the movie. And then by that point, you don't want to watch the rest of the fucking movie. No. Wrong.
And the whole aspect of, we talked about it before, but like family members, like you ruin the entire Jason story by making Jason not the only son. Like that's the whole reason that, Pamela Voorhees snapped was because he's the only son. Ruins the story. Giving Freddy a daughter that, listen up guys, making Freddy sympathetic ruins the character. And we'll touch on that. We'll touch on that when we get to the remakes. But Freddy's a piece of shit. He's an evil, vile piece of shit.
Rapes and murders children.
He needs to stay an evil, vile piece of shit. The evil Bugs Bunny thing, you can still be an evil, vile piece of shit. Because I don't know if you ever watched a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Bugs Bunny's a dick. So it's fine. He can be cartoony, he can be over the top. Because he doesn't give a shit about the kids. He's literally playing with them. That's why him being crazy and him being goofy still works with the fact that he's crazy and evil. You can still have your cake and eat it too in that aspect. Do not make him sympathetic in any way. You ruin the evil with that character. With Jason and the fact that you're giving him a sister, fucking stupid, so fucking stupid. The only thing, and here's where I will kind of waffle a bit. The only aspect of this that has any redeeming quality, aside from the fantastic K&B effects, is the lead up, the Freddy versus Jason aspects, and then also the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. That's why there's the Evil Dead. That's why there's the Necronomicon in the cabin. That's why there's the Kandarian Deager. And then in the basement, that crate. Yeah. That crate is from Creepshow. That's Fluffy's crate from Creepshow, which doesn't factor at all. It's just like, hey, wouldn't it be like, look, there's the crate from Fluffy or whatever. I think the idea was that Pamela Voorhees she became super obsessed with the occult to try and bring Jason back. So she would gather all these different things. The whole lead up of having Jason be a Deadite, and then you have the end where the claw pops out of the end, which you haven't even mentioned yet. Freddy's claw coming out and pulling out the mask. Like, that's great. That last part is fantastic. Everything else is completely bullshit. It's canon shitting. It's the story doesn't make sense. It's insulting to an entire legion of fans. Which, yeah, this isn't fucking high art. It's not Casablanca. It's not fucking. This isn't something you're gonna write a term paper on.
They're slasher films.
I'm not saying that you need to fucking treat it with hallowed respect that you would in an ancient artifact, but fucking don't be a dick. That's at the end of the day. Is just don't be a dick. Don't shit on it.
I don't think so.
But yeah, no, the Freddy versus Jason versus Ash elements, even though it didn't pan out, technically there's 2 comic book series that they did kind of work into. They took the treatment of the script. Whatever.
Only you would care.
It's not great, but it's fun. But yeah, the fact that they were trying to do that in a time where before the Dark Universe and Marvel Universe and DCU,
crossovers and
right. Yeah. Before that was a thing, the fact that they were working on that is cool. That's the only element of cool that this movie has. It's a piece of dog shit.
Actually, it's a demonic turd that you've passed mouth to mouth.
Exactly. Yeah, and then. But we didn't even talk about the fucking gay shaving scene.
Oh, who cares? I don't want to fucking
There's a scene where there's the gay shaving scene. It's fucking stupid. Who cares? Fuck it.
That's
The director thinks it's funny. That gives you an idea of what this fucking piece of shit is. The director thinks it's funny. Fuck you. He doesn't do anything after this. I'm glad. Fuck that guy. Anyway, sorry.
I'm just trying to think how we should wrap this up. I mean, we always usually cut on a joke, so.
There's no bigger joke to cut on than this fucking turd.
Get up and kill!
Moderately Neato.